All right. What's up, everybody? One second. Okay, sorry. So yeah, this is we're gonna do a little bit of a weekly outlook for NQ. I'm gonna go with NQ this week because I feel like I want to trade NQ this week. I'll also do ES on my own, but this is going to be my weekly outlook recording for my personal journal and for anyone else that's interested that's out there right now. So what I want to do is just try to come up with a game plan of what I'm looking for in the next week. Lay out some levels, and throughout the week we can see how we did as far as laying those out and adjust as we go along. But this is the first step every week. So yeah, we'll start looking at the weekly chart. So once again, this is the NQU 2023 contract, futures contract that we'll be looking at. So you see last week, which was the first week of August, by the way, we did close under the previous week low, which means one big target that I'm going to put out here is weekly sell side. This is our previous week low. I should probably change that to say PWL, previous week low. Save as PWL, PWL, not PQL. We can mark out previous week high, even though it is not something I'm expecting, just because of the close under previous week low last week. But we'll put it on here. Weekly BSL. We'll call this previous week high instead. Save as previous week high. Boom. Let's kill these templates, as we don't need them. Okay. So we have previous week high, previous week low. Once again, not caring as much about this high, even though it's sort of like a relative equals. I don't really care that much, I don't think. This is for my education, guys, so I don't know. But as of right now, I think I don't really care about weekly levels like equal highs and stuff. Dropping down to the daily. So that's all I really care about, is that we closed under this low. That tells me the first draw on liquidity I'm going to be looking for is previous week low for this week. Dropping down to the daily. What are we going to look for? So if we were to assume, it's never great to assume, but if we were to assume that we'll get another expansion week to the downside, which I'm not sure of, but we would want to see Monday and Tuesday probably go in an upward direction to some PD array that's formed here, right? So we have quite the PD arrays here. We have an order block here, which we've come through and traded into. Let me try something here. We actually went past the 50% line, but it's fine. Drop down, closed under, swing low, stayed under, swing low. Yeah, I think, seeing Monday and Tuesday coming up into this fair value gap, perhaps even trading all the way through it, and Wednesday, Thursday, Friday dropping to some lower targets. We have tons of lower targets, right? Tons of open gaps from the run-up that's happened the past 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, maybe 5? I mean, honestly, since March, so we're going on 5 months. Yeah, I mean, this could be where we start dropping to some lower targets. You see how we have a very similar structure here, but the big difference, this came back to an order block and went up. This came back to an order block and sliced through it. Came actually back to this order block, which I'm not sure if we care about. I want to mark that out, but it's a consideration. One thing I would probably mark out, I'm actually, you could mark out this, you could say this is an order block, maybe. But I think just caring about this fair value gap is going to be more beneficial. So I'll mark this 1-day fair value gap. And with that, I will also mark the C of that. Okay, so we have we have an idea if it were to go for an expansion downwards. Let's try to think of what is most likely here. We do have a gap. Now this was a pretty big daily open gap, and we'll drop to the 15-minute so we can see that a little better. You see here, between Tuesday close and Wednesday open, which is Tuesday at 6 p.m., we have this pretty massive gap, which didn't get refilled. I don't know, and you see our daily fair value gap here is in between price right now and that new day open gap that we never closed up. We'll evaluate that more a little later, because I want to lay out a scenario where we go upwards as well. I mean, I think we're at a point, came back to a sorry, just trying to read this a little bit. It's a little bit of a breaker as well on the daily. It's a breaker from taking structure, a big level. I mean, yeah, sort of clearing that fair value gap. Yeah, this is pretty interesting. We'll stick with the fair value gap. One thing I did forget to pull up is our calendar, because this matters. So the calendar for this week is a pretty big one, right? We have Thursday and Friday being pretty big days. I'm only showing 3-star, 3-folder, as some people say. News events. These are the only ones that really matter. The ones that matter most are the ones at 8:30. CPI obviously being a really, really big one. Really important one. So up until Thursday, I would think that the move that happens would be the Judas swing, sort of, right? It would be the fake move. And then whatever happens, CPI, and then, you know, you got the British GDP number and the US PPI number, which I don't think is as impactful as CPI, but it's going to inject something into the market, give some kind of excuse for movement. Yeah, so I want to watch that. I want to watch if the first 3 days of the week come up. And I really would like to see Wednesday start off the trend down and maybe come back to this level. So this kind of movement is what we're going to look for. Like Monday and Tuesday. I know this takes us to the following Monday, but you get the idea. And then these lows, these lows here should be under attack. I think we go to attack those. Now we do have a lot in the way to get to these. These are relative equal. We got relative equals down here. We've got a lot of stuff. It's definitely not gonna, well, I wouldn't say definitely. It probably is not gonna happen in 1 week that we clean up a lot of this stuff. But I would like to see it get to here and possibly here. So we can mark out some of this stuff. It's a big target there for at least a sweep. 1 day sell side target. And then we'll put some relative equal lows to look out for. Okay. So that's on the daily. Just trying to think of the probabilities here. What could happen? Look at that Judas swing breaker. That's fucking beautiful. Okay. So one thing to consider is Friday we did sweep the low and come back and close over it. So we could look for previous day high as a target, and it's pretty damn high. So we'll put that out there. I mean, Monday going all the way up there, it would be a little surprising with no news. But yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be impossible, obviously. Nothing's impossible. Something to look out for. An inside candle would make more sense. This is a candle that's with both sides, so it'll be pretty interesting to see what happens next. I think an inside candle would make a lot of sense, but we'll see how that plays out. Definitely no expert at any of this, so more of just stuff that I'm looking at, and we'll journal how it played out. All right, so on the 4 hour, clearly had this big breaker, low consolidation period here. You see, breaker. There's like the breaker block, I guess, but the thing that really matters is order block up here. You could sort of consider this whole thing. We came up here. Let's see, did we get optimal trade entry? I'm gonna guess yes. Yeah, for sure. Even from here. That's pretty beautiful. Optimal trade entry. Dug into a fair value gap on the 4 hour. Before, you know, took some sweeps of it before the big sell-off last week. It's pretty good. All right. And then this was non-farm payrolls. Really just set up another potential breaker, Judas swing. As far as stuff to look out for on the 4 hour, I mean, I think it's very clear that we're going to shift down. I think this supports what we looked at on the daily to come up a little bit. You know, we went under some lows here. We swept a big low here. And coming up, I mean, look, if this doesn't look like it's going to be some kind of broadening formation, it certainly does to me. Looks like it could be some kind of broadening formation, and then we'll have to see how it breaks. I mean, clearly I'm looking for down on the break there. Do we care about anything else? This BPR here, nice little fair value gap. Fair value gap here, which we have just dipped our toes into a little bit. Yeah, we got like a balanced price range here. Coming back into that. Is this a market maker sell model? It's pretty sloppy. It's hard to say. It's pretty sloppy. This part of it. What else do we want to look for? Okay, this is pretty interesting. All right, 4 hour. You don't see it too much, but it's sort of a breaker here, especially when you drop down to the 1 hour. So we dug in quite a bit. And we dug in right to this order block here, right? Well, not to the bodies. It did dig into the wick. Now, wicks are gaps, yeah? Wicks are gaps. Let's see where we hit on that gap. Yeah, it just came to the CE, huh? That's interesting. So yeah, we got more to dig into on the upside. But we absolutely do have reason to not even have to do that as well, right? Let's see from this drop. This is the whole drop. Let's look at our fib. So we're not even close to hitting a OTE on this. Not sure if that's really required. I mean, we got so much garbage here. Got a balanced price range there. Really a big breaker, I guess. Came down, traded back up. A lot of mess there. So yeah, I mean, we're not obviously we're not gonna be able to get a very super precise picture, at least with my abilities. I'm just trying to get an idea of what to look for. We got OB here. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy ones. The 4 hour. Let's drop to the 15 minute. Let's see about sessions. Open sessions. Now we have open session highs up here. All session lows have been swept besides New York PM. We have Asia going up. Yeah, I'll be interested to see how this does react. This breaker. This is sort of a consolidate. It's very tough. It's very tough because we truly had an attempt here that got stopped, and then we really did have one there. Now, what's it breaking out of? Consolidation range is tough to look at here. It's not really straight up consolidation. I mean, this is a pretty good one here, but we had not super easy to read. But I do favor the downside still. I just think we could make a run just like this one. Okay, so this we had a series of purges of buy side, right? Before it eventually sold off. And I think that could be likely here too, to maybe even get up into this new day opening gap. A series of buy side purges, purge this high, right? And then have another great sell off. So that's going to be what I'm looking for to start the week at least. Just going to have to be hyper aware of this potential of a breaker here to go down, but that doesn't really make much sense because we're right. We're just on the wrong side of the line here, on the premium discount side, you know? Like if we're measuring up here to here, maybe we should reverse that. Measure from here to here. We are right into optimal trade entry in a higher time frame order block. To get more upside. Now, do we have upside targets? Like if the breaker here, right? It made way more sense. We have a tight consolidation, fucking tight, really tight consolidation. Break, dramatic, right? Back into it, sell off, come back in. This is This is like seeking liquidity, right? Balanced price range here. Just seeking buy side, getting some sell side, but mostly big buy side runs, right? Big dump. This was a breaker that took a big target above. So that's just way more significant, and it's just way clearer. This one is just messy. It's super messy. I think we do have some stronger buy side pushes coming from this. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna look for. Okay. Let's go back to 4-hour dip. Just purging highs. Really hard drop down lower. Just purging lows. Let's go back to the daily. Got a lot of stuff here. Oh, that's what we wanted to do. We're going to look for other targets. Well, not on this contract, right? We'd have to look at the NQ continuous contract to find other targets. And look at that. I have stuff drawn out on this one. Well, I'll be... Maybe I should trade the continuous target, or continuous contract. We have highs. We have a giant imbalance that we literally just dug into. Okay, yep, that changes things. Breaker from hitting the start of an imbalance. Let's see if we grab some of these sell side targets. I mean, this is... I'm mainly talking way further ahead. So this week, still the same plan. Still the same game plan. Let's go back to NQU. 2023. It's very tough to just look at this because we have so many really far away things, like from a long time ago. So it's just tough looking at an individual contract, but we don't really care about that. We care that we hit a target, so that's good to see. Like a big target, right? We put in a very solid breaker. We've come back into that, and we're starting a sell-off period, and this sell-off period should be going to seek imbalances. And we have a lot of them. So we'll see where the upward move is going to want to end. We have a big news event on Thursday. Some consolidation before a Thursday breaker could also be a thing, right? So let's keep that in mind as well. The big news is on Thursday. It's a 10:30 a.m. Wednesday news event. I don't think that would matter. Canada has a holiday tomorrow. Something to think about. I think we have some choppiness. I think we have some consolidation coming up. Big purge. Big drop. Took some sell side. But not any new stuff. It's all stuff we've already created, like we just created. New stuff meaning old stuff, I guess. Let's get this shit. We should go get this. Let's go get this. Yeah. All right. 4 hour, 1 hour has not convinced me to consider anything different than what I'm already considering on the daily. Purging a previous high of day would be something I'm looking out for. and would expect a strong reaction. I would not expect it to close above previous high of day. Yeah. That's what I'm looking at. I like this daily fair value gap as well. See how we react in there. We got order blocks. Man, I need to do more studying on order blocks. It's breaker blocks and order blocks. I just feel like that's it. That's the ticket. Levels of liquidity, easy, right? We can all see higher lows, lower, or we can all see swing lows, swing highs. We can see when they line up. It's easy to see. Fair value gaps are easy to see. Fair value gaps are great to know that price needs to be balanced. But I think when it comes to like predicting when a move is going to be significant, really the breaker block or the breaker pattern taking out a high value target with the first leg of the breaker, that's the nuts. Being able to see that, and the next step would be to see price trade back into that. That's always gonna I feel like that always happens, and then you want to look for order blocks there, breaker block, to really start the move, the significant move, right? This is a breaker right here. When you're looking at the daily, I mean, on the lower time frames, that's where the breaker was, right? This one right here, 4 hours shows it really well. And then this movement up here, filling the fair value gap, I mean, that's a big thing too. Complete fill of the fair value gap. Complete fill, which also digs into order block from a breaker that the first leg took out, or not took out, but hit a weekly imbalance. Once we trade back up into that, then we get this is the trade you want to be in, huh? That's the one you want to catch. All this other stuff, you got to be on the lookout for that. Know when it's going to climb back up to do that. But know when it's going to do that. So that's what we're trying for. Yeah. So we'll see if this holds up to shoot lower, or if we do some buy side purges. That's sort of kind of my guess, is that we do some buy side purges early in the week, and we set up a Thursday dumperino to grab some bigger sell side targets. All right, that's the weekly outlook. We'll wake up tomorrow and see if it's totally blown up in my face, and we'll look at our daily outlook in the morning, 6:30 in the morning. Probably not gonna stream it. I generally am just gonna stream this one and some daily ones just to keep for my records, but maybe someone will pick up on it and see that other people struggle as well and can use it for some inspiration or something. Once again, not an expert. Will never claim to be an expert until I am. Don't think that's going to be anytime soon. If you want to learn this shit, there's a link in the description of all my videos to go to ICT's channel. All his stuff is free. Go look at his shit. 2022 mentorship. Read do that first. Go through some core content. Go through some Twitter Spaces. There's a lot of shit out there from him. It's all free. Don't learn from me. Yeah, that's it. Looking forward to the trading week. Take care.